All right, I'm 365 Days of Horsemanship, day 356. So I had really nice day actually with both horses. I started by bringing Lawrence up. The day before that, I actually ended up rugging him, just because the rain is coming in and it's getting that little bit colder now. And I had thought that if I had had enough time, I would really have liked to have just had a little session with him in the arena prior to putting the rug on, but I didn't quite get around to it. So I was excited to do that the next day, and it was cold again the next day anyway. It's kind of an interesting thing with Lawrence, I think, the balance between like freedom and like meeting his needs. It's difficult, I think, to explain. It's not really possible to explain prior to doing the process why physical exercise is important for his body and for his comfort. And I kind of reflected on this a lot. It's something that I've really wrestled with really every year, is this idea around, ultimately, when I go to halter him, the initial answer is no thank you. And then it doesn't take very much persistence for me to convince him to stop and let me put the halter on. And it doesn't take much pressure for me to get him to the arena to do something. And then once we're in there, it doesn't take very much pressure for me to convince him to do things. But I've always felt with Lawrence very strongly that it's important to me to have this very high level of freedom in our relationship. But I think this year's the first year that I think I've had perhaps the self-confidence to be able to say, trust me, let me help you feel better. Because I think my mindset now is kind of knowing that really the goal is for him to feel as good as possible. If I can help him keep his joints moving, help him, it's really more than anything, it's the warmth, because I think he gets really cold in the winter. I don't think he moves very much. I think then his joints kind of get stiff. And I think like something I've really noticed when I walk to work in the winter particularly, but really any day when it's like a bit chilly in the morning, is by the time I get there, I've had this kind of like 10-minute, like I've had an active walk. By the time I get there, I'm warm. I'm normally just putting my t-shirt on, my work polo, and I don't put my jacket on for probably half an hour or so because I'm nice and warm. And I think it's just giving him the opportunity to just have those warm moments during the winter, I think is going to be a quality of life for him that where I'm at the moment seems to me to be worth putting the pressure on him to get him to the arena. And so that's what I decided to do. I think I feel much more confident now. I think since Elsa's, I think this is something that I really felt like I took away personally from spending time with Elsa, was I think I really gained an understanding of how to build a training program for a purpose, for an end result. And I don't think I ever really had that before. I think I always kind of felt like that I was making a guess about what I thought might work, but I never really had the self-confidence to see it through for long enough to see any results. Whereas after Elsa's, I think now I have this real confidence, like having seen her do it and having seen her go through, quite an intense process with some of the horses that were there, and also going through processes with the horses I was working with, and seeing progress and seeing repetitions and understanding like how to set a goal and try something and do it a few times and get the repetitions in, and just helped me to feel a lot more comfortable with sort of accepting the process, rather than kind of wanting to achieve everything as soon as possible. And so the training program that I've kind of put together, my end goal with him actually is just to do a little bit of liberty jumping, just little tiny cross poles, because I think the very small cross poles will just encourage him just to engage his core, lift the front end of his body, and engage his hindquarter muscles, basically. And so I think that very small built up jumping is probably something that he's going to find the most interesting and engaging. And it's something that can be built up to quite slowly. So basically we've started with, and it's very kind of loosey-goosey. I don't have any major intentions to kind of, have anything be particularly like sharp. I don't need him to be particularly, responsive on a dime. Like, I'm not trying to train him to sort of look good. I just, the relationship needs to work out, right? But I don't need it to be like refined. I just want him to be able to move around in the space comfortably and feel sort of loosely connected to me while he does that. So I've started off just with walking and trotting, just walk and trot transitions, trying to find some rhythm and relaxation in the trot, find that good feeling, come back to walk again, walk around together a little bit, look at some stuff, ask for the trot again. And I'm basically intending to kind of try to do this about once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and just see how it goes. If we get to a place where he's excited when he sees the halter and he wants to come and do the sessions, I might add more sessions like that. I think the key focus for me is kind of still the freedom-based training. That's where I'm really interested. But I also feel like it's important for Lawrence to have these other sessions. And I think it marks quite a change in our relationship, quite a nice change in our relationship, that I feel like I'm in a place that I have something to offer him with that. So when I did this first session with him, it was just 15 minutes. I didn't want to overload him. I didn't want to do too much. And that's what it will be like for the next few sessions, until that feels really comfortable for him. And until I feel like we're making progress. And I feel like, what I'm asking for, until I feel that feeling that actually, or maybe I could ask for a little bit more, that's all we'll do. Just really build it up slowly and kind of see where it takes us, really. So that was really nice. It was definitely fun for me to have the opportunity to have him in the arena. And I think that he enjoyed the session. I think it was within what's comfortable for him. I think, he's the kind of horse that he's just more naturally skeptical and more naturally anxious than Mia is. Like, Mia, I feel like she's anxious through conditioning. Like, I feel like hers is like a learned behavior. Like, all horses are skeptical and anxious, naturally. But I feel like she's less so innately than he is. Whereas he is both very innately skeptical and anxious, and also has had some experiences of being conditioned that way. And so I think he's just the kind of horse that naturally needs more repetitions of something for it to become something that feels safe for him. He just needs that consistency to know that actually this is what he's going to expect. It's going to be okay. And he can trust that because it's been okay the last 7 times that we did it. So it's just about giving him that consistency. I think it's going to be good for me to train my patience, because I think he is a horse that really needs to have like that time. Just take the time to help him feel really comfortable, feel really safe, feel really relaxed with what we're doing. And hopefully with that relaxation will come more willingness, because I do believe that what I'm doing is going to help him feel better. I do believe that he's going to physically feel better after these sessions. And I think that's what I'm really aiming for. Like, it's again like that kind of horse-centered approach, and just really thinking about, I'm not doing this for me. Like, there's definitely things I'm going to learn from it, for sure. But the primary reason why I'm doing these type of sessions with Lawrence is because I think it's going to be helpful for him. So it was a really nice session. I then had a session with Mia, just working on the same things that I've been working on the day before. Had a nice liberty session with her. I changed the poles out for a couple of small jumps, which she didn't actually need to jump. She just lifted her legs over them, and did a little bit of canter on the ground. Then got on Did a little bit of work, both reins on picking up the contact in walk and trot. And yeah, I was really happy with the progress. Happy to just really be on that pattern with her until I feel the need for something to change. So yeah, no, it's been really good. I know that probably the next pattern that we're going to look at is going to be potentially some serpentines or something similar to look at these yields, because I think the yields definitely do need some work, but that's something I also need to get my body right for. And I'm hoping that getting my body right, just kind of going forwards, is going to be the first step to being able to hold a balance while turning. So yeah, all in all, just really happy with the session, with both sessions, and looking forward to being able to get back out with them again. I was at work today and the weather is horrendous, so I haven't been up today. Hopefully the weather will be a bit nicer and I'll make it up tomorrow, but definitely the rest of the week then I'm on lates and nights, so I should have a little bit of time in the day, which will be really, really, really nice.